Planet of the Apes was never just a sensational sci-fi tale. It represented a bold, seat-of-your-pants rebellion against the careful nature of 1960s Hollywood. The production was fraught with obstacles, intense budgetary struggles, makeup that wilted in extreme heat, and a composer who literally worked in an ape head. All of this chaos unfolded behind the memorable, ruined architecture on the beach. Tonight, we are unsealing 20 secrets revealed about Planet of the Apes, 1968, the on-set crises, the casting dramas, and the cultural commentary Fox never intended you to discover. Stick around for the bonus fact that even dedicated ape heads frequently miss, and uncover how one excised scene could have permanently altered the entire franchise. Ready? Hit play, prepare yourself, and let's swing straight into this forbidden territory. 1. The merchandising revolution action, figures that conquered toy aisles. It wasn't marketing fluff, it was a retail revolution. In 1974, Mego's 8-inch Dr. Zaius, Soldier Ape, and Action Stallion toys hit shelves, initiating playsets where children reenacted judicial debates and cornfield chases. The line sold millions, proving serious science fiction could drive playground economies and foreshadowing the Star Wars merchandising explosion 3 years later. Apes didn't just dominate the screen, they seized the toy box. 2. The controversial deleted subplot. Early cuts revealed Nova carrying Taylor's child and the astronaut dying under an ape sniper's bullet. Executives balked. Interspecies intimacy and a relentlessly downbeat finale felt too volatile, so the entire subplot was removed, leaving reels of unseen footage locked away. Screenwriter Michael Wilson fumed that the moral squeamishness stripped the story of its darkest metaphorical meaning. Somewhere, cans of 35mm film hold the sequel that never was. 3. The masked conductor. A composer conducts in disguise. Jerry Goldsmith stepped onto the scoring stage wearing a full chimp mask. He slashed his batons, pounded on Brazilian quaquas, and sent French horns shrieking through ram's horn mouthpieces. Musicians first laughed, then fell silent, gripped by the primal urgency. Goldsmith insisted the mask freed his inner animal ear, and the atonal clatter he recorded remains one of film's most radical scores. Studio brass called it noise. 50 years later, it still sounds like the violent birth of another planet. 4. The wartime origins of the makeup. War scars beneath every snout, Chambers' ape faces aren't pure fantasy, they are rooted in battlefield trauma. During the war, he had rebuilt the facial features of disfigured soldiers with medical appliances. 2 decades later, he repurposed that same silicone flexibility so Zira could smile and Cornelius could snarl. This wasn't simple movie magic, but rehabilitation science reborn as cinema. The result was expressions that felt heartbreakingly authentic because they were engineered from real human trauma. 5. The Academy Award invention. The Oscar that shouldn't exist. There was no Best Makeup category in 1968, so the Academy literally invented a Special Achievement Award to honor John Chambers' breakthroughs. Walter Matthau presented Chambers with the Golden Statuette, recognizing latex innovations he had adapted from prosthetics designed for wounded World War II veterans. In one night, genre makeup graduated from being a technical afterthought to Oscar-level art, paving the way for every monster, alien, and mutant that followed. 6. The trial that satirized dogma. The tribunal scene rewrites the Scopes Monkey trial. This wasn't a random court proceeding, but a sharp satire referencing the 1925 legal battle over teaching evolution. 3 robed orangutans physically strike the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil poses while condemning Taylor's blasphemous science. Scholars call it a cinematic reversal. Apes prosecute a human for heresy, just as Tennessee once prosecuted a teacher for Darwin's theory. 9 months after the film's release, the last anti-evolution statutes fell, proving that a pulp adventure can successfully challenge real-world dogma until it crumbles. 7. The Backstage Ape Society poker, playing gorillas and tango dancing chimps. Between setups, ape extras couldn't remove their 2-hour makeup, so they passed the time in full costume. Cameras caught gorillas shuffling cards, chimps twirling script girls, and an orangutan in spectacles reading Variety. The bizarre backstage carnival would explode with laughter until assistant directors commanded places, and the same playful primates returned to judicial solemnity. What audiences didn't know was that the masks created a parallel society where species-based cliques partied like a backlot Mardi Gras, transforming downtime into a living, breathing satire of ape culture itself. 8. The full-scale sinking. A spaceship sinks for real at Lake Powell. The opening crash wasn't done with miniatures. It involved a full-scale capsule guided onto the still water at Utah's Alstrom Point. Divers hid beneath pontoons, guiding the hull while cameras rolled from a barge. One incorrect pull, and the set, the only hero raft, would have vanished 170 feet down. Wind whipped up red desert waves, and the crew scrambled to anchor before dusk stole the light. When Heston, Burton, and Gunner leaped clear, the capsule flooded exactly on cue, buckled, and went under, stranding everyone on an isolated mesa, reachable only by helicopter. This was pure logistical brinkmanship, not CGI. 9. The $5,000 greenlight gambit. The $5,000 gamble that greenlit an empire. On March 8, 1966, producer Arthur P. Jacobs personally advanced $5,000 for an 8-minute test scene. Charlton Heston strode in astronaut gear while Edward G. Robinson wheezed through a rough Dr. Zaius mask. Linda Harrison and James Brolin chattered in early chimp prosthetics. The footage wasn't about acting, it was proof that John Chambers' latex appliances could flex naturally on camera without cracking. When skeptical Fox executives screened the dailies, they were stunned. The apes looked alive. That instant approval transformed a risky paperback adaptation into a studio tentpole and ignited one of cinema's most enduring franchises. 10. The $1 million publicity myth. The $1 million myth that sold tickets. Advertisements proudly boasted the film spent a cool $1 million on makeup, an eye-watering sum in 1967. But associate producer Mort Abrahams later confessed the real figure hovered closer to $500,000, arguing that $1 million simply generated better publicity. The tactic worked. Journalists trumpeted the higher number, audiences equated cost with quality, and Fox recouped the entire budget within the first 3 weeks. Meanwhile, Chambers' team stretched every nickel, pre-blending appliances and recycling hairpieces, proving movie magic isn't always about burning cash, but sometimes about crafting a headline. 11. The shared ownership of the twist. A twist ending with two competing fathers. Rod Serling's earliest drafts already concluded with a battered Statue of Liberty. But when blacklisted screenwriter Michael Wilson was hired, he thoroughly revised the political dialogue and insisted on altering exactly how Taylor made the shocking discovery. For decades, fans debated who truly authored the most famous reveal in sci-fi history. Surviving drafts confirm Serling conceived the image. Yet Wilson's rewrite sharpened its timing and its bitter, cynical tone. Even the Writers Guild ultimately split the credit, permanently linking both men to that jaw-dropping pullback shot. 12. The inaccessible, coastal, set 4 helicopters, cliffs, and a beach no crew could reach. The apocalyptic shoreline wasn't a matte painting or a soundstage. It was a highly remote cove situated between Malibu and Oxnard, flanked by 130-foot cliffs. There was no road access. Gear, horses, and fully suited ape actors had to be lowered in by helicopter every morning. The constant roar of the rotor blades scattered dialogue, desert sand blasted the latex, and a single drop camera would have shattered on the rocks. Director Franklin Schaffner burned an entire week on the location, but the heart-stopping final reveal he captured justified every precarious lift. 13. Heston's sickness as character rage. Charlton Heston's flu becomes Taylor's rage. During the Arizona desert shoot, Heston was struck with a severe flu that left him feverish and hoarse. Producers debated halting production until the star recovered, but Schaffner decided the gravelly voice perfectly suited a man who had marched across an alien wasteland. Heston soldiered on, his temperature spiking and his lips cracking, especially in the scene where fire hoses pummeled Taylor in the holding pen. He later wrote in his diary, "I felt like hell every time that damn hose hit me." Yet, the raw rasp underscored the character's exhaustion and convinced the audience of his ordeal. 14. The desert's attempt to kill the cast. When the desert tried to kill the apes, it isn't just makeup, it's an oven. Glen Canyon, Utah, hammered the set with 115-degree heat. Latex appliances baked, spirit gum liquefied, and chimp noses drooped like softened wax. Extras collapsed between takes, ambulance crews raced through the red dust. John Chambers improvised a cool-down line, masked actors filed past industrial fans, with ice cubes packed under their armpits and cold-set hair dryers blasting inside their helmets. It wasn't vanity, it was survival. By sundown, half the call sheet was suffering from migraines. Yet, cameras kept rolling because the location rental clock was merciless. What audiences didn't see was the literal fight to keep the apes' faces from sliding off before the director called cut. 15. Roddy McDowall's secret footage. Roddy McDowall's secret 16mm diary. This wasn't corporate PR, it was a rebel scrapbook. Between setups, McDowall whipped out a personal Bell & Howell Filmo and recorded candid footage, stunt chimps practicing vaults, Heston joking about monkey business, and Chambers scraping latex at midnight. The studio strictly forbade leaks. The ape makeup was proprietary gold. So McDowall hid the reels in his trailer's false drawer, cleverly labeling them laundry. Decades later, the restored snippets surfaced as a Blu-ray extra, revealing raw, affectionate glimpses of a crew sweating through cinematic history. Without Roddy's gorilla lens, much of Apes' day-to-day struggle would be lost forever. 16. Species-based lunch segregation. Dining segregation by species. It wasn't method acting, it was pure logistics. Once actors were suited up, each trip through makeup took 2 hours just to reseal the edges. Therefore, the team instituted a strict lunch rule. Chimps, gorillas, and orangutans ate at separate picnic clusters to prevent cross-contamination and accelerate touch-ups. The real humans were banished to a distant truck. Charlton Heston later quipped, "I felt like the alien on my own picture." It wasn't camaraderie, but triage. Keeping fur out of vegetable soup meant shaving minutes off the reset clock and saving thousands on the budget. 17. The smoke that nearly suffocated an actor. Smoke that nearly suffocated Dr. Zaius. The tribunal chamber set required shafts of eerie dust. Effects technicians rigged smoke pots, cheap, powerful, and utterly toxic. During one long take, Maurice Evans felt his mask tighten. The nostril slits drew in nothing but acrid haze. He signaled for a cut, but no one noticed beneath the layers of prosthetic solemnity. Seconds from blacking out, Evans ripped off his jawpiece on camera, breaking the illusion but saving his lungs. The crew quickly swapped in dry ice fog thereafter. This wasn't a creative decision, it was an emergency pivot that kept their star breathing. 18. The primal composer. The composer who howled in an ape mask. Jerry Goldsmith refused a standard orchestra. Instead, he gathered steel mixing bowls, Brazilian cuicas, and ram's horns, then recorded the score while wearing a full chimp mask, convinced it would liberate him from traditional musical motifs. The sessions erupted into primal yelps and clanging metal that completely redefined sci-fi music. Fox executives panicked. Is this noise? Director Schaffner insisted it was the soul of the film. He was right. Goldsmith's atonal pulses have become iconic. 19. The studio's financial savior, the blockbuster that patched Fox's bleeding wallet. It wasn't just a talking ape thriller, it was the studio's lifeline. 5 years after Cleopatra's $40 million spiral nearly bankrupted 20th Century Fox, executives faced mounting debt and real estate fire sales. Then Planet of the Apes transformed its $5.8 million budget into a roaring $33 million domestic gross, enough to keep the studio gates open and greenlight the 1970s slate. Industry papers marveled that a single sci-fi gamble had steadied an empire, proving that latex and allegory could rescue a studio faster than any prestige epic. 20. Daily liquid rations. Lunch through a straw every single day, not chow lines, but liquid rations. The prosthetic muzzles locked actors' mouths 4 inches behind rubber lips, making steaks impossible so meals became smoothies. Dailies paused while assistants pureed sandwiches into thermos jugs. Charlton Heston, horrified, hiked a mile back to base camp and returned with boxes of industrial drinking straws, saving dehydrated co-stars from collapsing in the 100-degree desert heat. Castmate Lou Wagner recalls fainting extras and faces melting before our eyes. Survival wasn't heroic dialogue, it was sipping soup through plastic tubing between takes. Bonus fact: Alfred Hitchcock's Silent Partnership. Bonus fact: the legend who walked away. Edward G. Robinson, not Maurice Evans, first wore Dr. Zaius' orange brow in the 1966 proof-of-concept reel that cost just $5,000. The footage convinced Fox to finance the film, but Robinson's heart condition forced him to quit before principal photography began. His short, grainy test still circulates among fans, a spectral performance that haunts every courtroom scene. The Zaius who might have been. Planet of the Apes was far more than a genre hit. It was a financial rescue mission, a laboratory for prosthetic science, a courtroom for cultural heresy, and the seed of modern movie merchandising. Its rubber-snouted rebels still echo in blockbusters that dare to question authority and in every action figure that stares back from a shelf. Smash that subscribe button. Share these secrets with your fellow damn dirty humans. And remember, it wasn't just a movie, it was a warning written in latex and sand.